Alright guys, when it comes to Zoom, we will only have Zoom whenever we have everyone doing online classes. And our Zooms are on Monday from 10 to 10:30, and it's a Q&A style. So I'm not teaching over Zoom, I'm just answering questions. And it is not required, it's optional. So you do not have to come to my Zooms. So don't stress about them. We won't be having one until after fall break when we go back to everyone online. So that's the reason why I haven't really posted anything about Zoom yet. So let's go ahead and take care of today's lesson. By the way, this is my second time recording it because the first time the video didn't save and I cleared it out before I even checked. So I'm going to check this time before I clear it out. So take two. We have two goals today. We're going to be able to know all the properties of exponents. We're going to be able to use the properties of exponents to simplify expressions to contain only positive exponents. So let's go ahead and take care of goal number 1 today. All properties of exponents. Here we go. So our first one we have here is the product rule. And this means multiplication. So anytime we're multiplying a set of exponents that have the same base, we're going to take the powers and we're going to add them. Like so. Okay? Alright, now let's talk about if we have a power of a product rule. This means we have multiplication happening and they're being raised to the same power. I tell everyone if there's a set of parentheses somewhere, whatever's right outside it goes to everything inside it. Kind of like distributive property. So this would be like saying A to the N, B to the N. Alright, quotient rule. Quotient means to divide. So if we multiplied meant we added, division means we're going to subtract. You'll take your powers this time and subtract them. Right? Power of a quotient rule. Remember, if there's a set of parentheses, anything outside it goes to everything inside it. All right. Now, power to a power rule. Anytime you have a power going to a power, that means multiplication is going to occur. Okay, negative exponent rule. If we have a negative exponent, to turn it positive, we need to flip it. So let's say we have a to the negative n over 1. It doesn't have to be written down, it's just assumed. For us to make it positive, we're going to flip it. Same thing if it was 1 over a to the negative n. We would flip it to make it positive. Ta-da! Alright, and our last rule before we start handling some examples is our zero power rule. Anytime anything is raised to a zero power, the answer will always be 1, no matter what. Alright, so let's do some examples. Now, just to let you know, I've taken your examples from your actual assignment for this week and put it on our notes. And the assignment for this week is all multiple choice, so you don't have to worry about being able to type in exponents on your Google form. Alright? So here we go. Let's practice doing the product rule. So remember, our product rule tells us that if we multiply, we're going to add our exponents. So our power here, or our base, is 8x. Now those 8s are going to multiply. So we would say, okay, well 8 times 8 is 64. So we have 64x. Now let's talk about our powers. We have a power of 4 and a power of 1. Remember, 1 doesn't have to be written down, it's just assumed. So we're going to add. So we'd say 4 plus 1 equals 5. So now that is our new power. Ta-da! Alright, let's talk about power of a product rule. Remember, if anything's written right outside a set of parentheses, it goes to everything inside the parentheses. So this cube is going to go to the 8, and this cube is going to go to the x. So we're going to have 8 cubed, x cubed. Now this isn't a final answer, because the 8 cubed can simplify. So let's talk about how you do that on the calculator. Alright, so I did on your main stream of your Google Classroom, I put on there some apps for if you have an iPhone or if you have a Android that's set up just like my calculator that you can use. So if you notice, there's like a little rooftop button here. So we could say 8 rooftop 3. That means 8 cubed. That gives us 512. Or you can remember that a power means how many times something is multiplying by itself. So if it's 8 cubed, that means it's going to be 8 multiplied by itself 3 times. So 1, 2, 3. So we have our answer would be 512 x cubed. All right, moving on. Let's practice our quotient rule. So remember, our quotient rule means we're going to subtract. First, let's look at our numbers. We have 6 over 8. And we have to see, can that simplify? Why, yes, they can. They are both divisible by 2, as in they can both be divided by 2, which means they can both be simplified. So we think, okay, well, 6 divided by 2 is 3. Over 8 divided by 2 is 4. All right, now let's take care of our m's. So we have a cube and we have a 1. And there's a reason why I haven't written an m down yet, because we don't know if m is going to be on top or m is going to be on the bottom. If you're like, well, how do you know which way it's going to go? So let's see which one's bigger. Is m to the 1 bigger or is m to the 3 bigger? Well, 3 is bigger than 1, so that means m is going to be on the bottom. So let's do our subtraction now. So we have 3 minus 1 equals 2. So now this is going to be a 2. All right. Now let's talk about power of the quotient rule. Remember, anything outside the parentheses is going to go to everything inside our parentheses. So this is going to go to the 2. It's going to go to the x, and it's going to go to the y. So we have 2 squared, x squared, y squared. Now are we finished? No, because this can simplify. We can do 2 squared. So 2 times 2 is 4. Now we are simplified. All right, example 5. Power of a product rule. And I've done 2 examples here because I wanted you to have both of these in front of you whenever you did your homework. Now remember, power to a power means we're going to multiply. So this is like saying r2 times 3. Well, what's 2 times 3? It is 6. So r to the 6. Now remember whenever I told you if there's something right outside the parentheses, it goes to everything? So this 3 is going to go to the 5, and it's going to work with that 4. So it's like saying 5 to the 3rd, p to the, well, remember, power to a power means we multiply, 4 times 3. Let's use our handy-dandy calculator. So we have 5 rooftop 3. That gives us 125 p, and then we do 4 times 3 to the 12th. Ta-da! All right, 2 more examples because I went ahead and got rid of the last one. Never mind. All right, so here we go. Example 6, negative exponent rule. So remember whenever it's just a solid expression or a solid number that there's a magical invisible 1 underneath it so that we know where our quote-unquote fraction exists. So let's see, what is already positive? Okay, so 7 is in the positive. And I don't mean in the front, I mean if I look at 7's power, there's an invisible 1 there and it's positive. Our x to the 4th is positive, so it also stays on top. But what about our y? Our y has a power of negative 4. So to make that positive, we need to move it to the bottom. So now we have a positive y to the 4th on the bottom. One more example and then we are finished. This is the 0 exponent rule. Remember, anything raised to 0 is 1. So when we look at this, even though we have all this going on inside, because outside everything is raised to a 0 power, that means it equals 1. All right, so use these notes to help you with your homework Google Sheet. It is, I think, a total of 18 problems, but it's multiple choice. Of course, if you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to reach out to me through Reminder through Google, okay? Thank you for your time.